Hello, Brooke. Welcome to the Power Women Wellness Podcast. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm excited to have Juice Queen here. Before we get into the behind the scenes of your life, tell us who you are. What do you do?
My name is Brooke Graves. I am the CEO and owner of Kaleidoscope Juice. We're a Arizona-based cold press organic juice company. We have 6 locations in the Valley. We do ship online, but we're predominantly just a locals brand. We have our own gluten-free bakery, and we also do smoothies, light bites behind the bar at each location.
Nice. Well, I mean, you're locals, but I know you have plans to expand eventually. So maybe you'll just be local to everyone eventually.
God willing, let's hope. Fingers crossed.
So, what brought you into the juice industry? Is there a story behind it, or you just love it?
So if you would have asked me, like growing up, if I was going to be obsessive over juice, I would not have, said that was going to be my career path. I always wanted to be in some sort of health wellness program, basically just helping other people. I really synopsis of a story. I was diagnosed with RA, rheumatoid arthritis, when I was 3. I had a bunch of health issues, and how most people kind of get into nutrition or get into the medical field, they're usually burned by it. I was very fortunate where I had some amazing experiences in medicine, and I also had some really hard ones. But through basically the adversity of the hard times with medicine, I saw this niche of needing to meet people with product. We have so many places that offer food and offer food options, but we have a lot of sick people that need more guidance than just having a salad or having a smoothie. We have a very sick population, and a lot of people have very strict dietary requirements. And instead of having food service meet people there, we're kind of making people become their own health professional, which is great. You always want to be your own advocate. You always want to know what's going on with your body and really take charge. But I wanted to try to create culinary medicine where we are really trying to bridge that gap. So if somebody is in the beginning stages of their health journey, or, far along, they can come to us as a brand and know and trust that what is actually on our labels or what is actually being spoken about through us is what's in the food. With a lot of marketing and greenwashing, that isn't the case. And I really hate hearing when people feel kind of betrayed or misled by the food they're eating because the labeling isn't as honest or as easy to read as it should be.
Yeah, for sure. And I know if you guys don't know, Brooke is also in the same doctorate program I'm in. And I loved what I did ask you initially, why were you in this? Because it's not always clinical, or I always assume clinical. And so if you're non-clinical, I'm like, oh my gosh, fill me in. How are you using this? And I loved that you were doing it to help create just different types of juices and just to be aware of that. It's not just like you're throwing produce together and voila. There's a lot of intention behind that. And I know that's, to me, from what I know, that doesn't seem like the typical. Again, it's just kind of putting things together and putting it out there. And I know the juice company you have, Kaleidoscope. Did I say that right? I always butcher words. Okay, good. You have all organic produce. What makes you a little bit different too than any other juice place?
So yes, all organic for our produce, but we also do roots and herbs. So a lot of places will use either the powder form of items, so like powdered turmeric or ginger, and it's just because it's a very expensive ingredient. And it's also kind of tough to source in bulk. I know we're in season right now, and with food and produce, everybody can attest the produce is expensive. Grocery shopping is through the roof. And we're sourcing not just like a couple apples or a couple turmeric. I went to our plant today and I pulled out our order guide and we check off because we get produce delivered 3 to 4 times a week. Wow. And we're doing as fresh as possible, and we're juicing 4 times minimum a week. So our produce delivery on turmeric as of today is almost 90 pounds, and we're getting that a couple times a week. So a lot of our product, I launched 2 new products last week. One of them I did specifically for a individual who's come to me. She has abdominal, liver, and lung cancer.
Oh my
He's
gosh.
preparing to do, yes, which is, heartbreaking. And when people come in and they tell me like, I am going to go into chemo and I'm going to do chemo and radiation, and I have been given zero guidance on how to prepare for this nutritionally. And that breaks my heart. And there are dietitians and nutritionists that do specific nutrition to prepare people for chemo. However, it's not exactly this. Not everybody knows, again, you're
Yeah.
your own advocate for your health. So she approached me, and of course I'm like, drop everything. Like, let's fucking do this. Like, who cares? Like,
Let's
I'll
figure it
figure it
out.
out. I will start looking up research articles. I will pull whatever I can to find the best thing to help prep you specifically for this. So I sourced 50 pounds of organic green cabbage, and we don't have that on hand. And that's not like
Oh my
an
gosh.
overnight thing, but we luckily have made it to that point in our company where we have that buying power. And I can tell our buyers and farmers, like, I need this, I need 50 pounds, and they know what I'm doing it for. So it's like, they know the intention of the product. So we are unique in that sense, where a lot of our products are for a specific person. Some of our juices are named after people. I have one called, yeah, that's sweet. I have one called Mason's Magic. It's for a little boy. He's probably 4 now. He has autism, and his mom approached me over the summer that he has SIBO, and his doctor, the team at, I don't know if it's Phoenix Children's or Mayo, I can't remember, and I don't want to butcher it, but his team was trying to work through his diet, and he was having a hard time getting down his morning supplements. And they're putting, probiotics and all these things together. And they wanted something to blend specifically for him that was palatable, but it needed to be low FODMAP for SIBO. So I went through, obviously, going through low FODMAP diet, and then thinking, what can I get a 3 and 4-year-old to drink every day?
Yeah.
And so we, pulled together as much stuff as we could, and tried to make, as palatable. And I'm thinking, okay, I need to pull forward, thinking of a child's palate, what flavors are going to be a turn on and a turn off. And you don't want to do something too sour, because it's like sour and spice are really big turnoffs for children usually at that age. But you want to have it sweet, and then also hide, I think we put wheatgrass in it. So and like turmeric, like what 3-year-old wants turmeric. But long story short, we were able to kind of create that blend for him in order for it to come through as a carrier for all his supplements in the morning, so that his doctors could make sure that he was getting those nutrients in and it tasted good, and he had like a little base for his breakfast. So I like to think that we're extremely customer service based, and we're extremely like, I want to say just like genuine in how we make the product. Like,
I love that.
Don't care if people don't absolutely love something from us. I'm like, yeah, if you know the story behind it and the person helping, it's so much big picture than somebody, just one day being like, I don't love, like apples or whatever. It's like, okay, sure. Like, you're not going to please everybody, but I know if we stay true to the intention, like, of each of our products and like who we make it for and how we grow the brand off of like true culinary medicine, true individualized care, like I will always like take that as like the base of how our business should be.
Yeah, the biggest win. And I'm so thankful for businesses like yours, because I will say, I sometimes just have like this little itch of like, you know what, that juicer looks so cool, I want to get it. And then my husband has to say, slow your damn roll. He's like, you gonna buy pounds of produce and like actually do it and clean it? I'm like, no, you're right. Okay, never mind. I was like, I have that itch. I literally just happened a couple months ago. I don't know which one it was. I want to say it starts with an N. I don't know. I feel like a lot of people are getting that type of juicer. It's a really great one. It's supposed to be easier to like clean. Shoot. I wish I knew what it was. I've heard people love it, but again, he like brought me down back to earth, and he's like, yeah, but do you know how many pounds? I'm like, you're so right. And he's like, where are we going to store all the produce? I'm like, oh no, you're so right. I am just going to pay premium for already made juice. It's fine.
And you guys have really great juice in Austin. My friend Sheena, she runs raw juice, and I will say,
I think I've been there.
I love her, and I know her like I know her as a individual, and I know where she comes from with her place of like light and love for how she makes product. And like, I could not speak higher words. So if you have people
I love
listen to
that.
this that are living in Austin, Raw Republic, owned
Raw
by
Republic.
Sheena, it's organic. She does such a great job. And she's one juice called Glam, and they source these really incredible mushrooms that they
Ooh.
put in the juice with apple and lemon and ginger.
Oh.
And it is just, it's a treat. It's just such a treat. So if you guys
Oh.
are there and you're blessed to have her by you, definitely try her.
I will have to, I'm going to write her thing down, try to find a website so I can put it in the resources. So that's awesome. And okay, let's get into your behind the scenes. So tell me, what do you do in the morning to like be a badass throughout the day? What routines, habits, what are you eating? What are you drinking? What are you journaling, or like just lifestyle things? Do you have anything in particular in the morning that's like a must to help get your mind right?
I make these like crack coffees and I do them. It's like my best part of my day. Like I get up
Oh,
so early and and I'm so used to it. I love getting up early. I love
me
having the
too.
mornings. Yeah, it's just, it's quiet. It's
Yeah.
peaceful. I have time if shit has hit the fan and I check my phone, and like something has happened. I know I have a few hours to figure it out before doors
Yeah.
open.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. So is that like the first thing you do when you wake up is you go make this crack coffee?
Yeah, well, okay, so I get up. I am not one of those people who's like, no, I'm not going to check my phone. No, I have to. Like, I wish that I could be in a space where like I could have like a journaling meditation moment. No, I have to like open my phone to make sure a store hasn't burned down overnight. And like
Understandable.
make sure everybody's going to show up to open, make sure that people are like, their cars are starting. Like, I'm still that integrated into, we have 56 employees, but I'm still like integrated into our day to day. And I love that. Like, I love that I know everybody who works here. And I love that, people still feel this connection to me where they can talk to me and communicate with me. And I hope to never lose that, just because the business is, I told
Ditto.
everybody in management, I'm like, we have such an opportunity to create a business of the type of company culture that we've always wanted.
Yeah.
And I never want people to feel like they are working for somebody who's asking too much for them. I always tell them, like, I'm working for you. Like, if you guys aren't happy and you guys aren't like wanting to be here and like you don't feel inspired by this job, like, I'm clearly doing something wrong.
Yeah.
So I'm like still integrated, still in the morning. So I check to make sure a store hasn't burned to the ground, which actually has happened. So my husband's a firefighter, and he called me one morning at like 4 a.m. No, 4 a.m. He goes, oh my God, you need to like go check on your Chandler store because we are standing in the building right next to it. It was like two, cohesive builds,
Okay.
and it's on fire. So you want to go check on it. I literally was like dropped all, like changed my clothes, like hustling out there. I was like, oh my God. So it does. So now that's like embedded in the back of my mind. I'm like, make sure nothing's on fire. So sorry to keep bringing it up, but it has happened to me before.
Oh my
So
gosh.
the store's fine. But yeah, so I get up, now that everything's good, after I check the phone, people are like gonna show up, nothing super crazy's happened. I don't need to like, alter my day dramatically. I go to make my coffee. I do like all these crazy things to help with memory and cognitive flow and to
Nice.
just basically like have an upper and a stimulant, and it makes me super happy and I'm addicted to it. And I do that in the morning. Then I will either go work on Monday, Tuesday, Fridays. I go work out.
Nice.
On Wednesdays and Thursdays, I will either do a long walk in the morning, or I will go in earlier to the plant because our plant gets there at 4 a.m. And
Gosh.
so, yeah, our plant team starts early, but they choose to. I actually like do not regulate when our plant shows up and when they leave. Our plant manager is so amazing. Her name's Mayani, and she's been with the company since pretty much inception. And I
Wow.
told her, like, you know what you're doing. You are like, the best at it. Like, as long as you feel comfortable in your job and you are getting product out when it needs to be out, like whenever you want to
Yeah.
be here. And she's like, I want to be here at 4 a.m. and I want to leave at 11 or 12. And I'm like, okay. good.
That sounds like me. I love the morning, love being productive. And then by the time like afternoon, late afternoon, of course, evening, I'm like, I just want to chill. Like I'm a morning person too. So I totally understand that. Sometimes it's so funny because I get too fired up about life with like morning, like if I get real excited, and it's not even anything cool. It's just like planning and all that stuff. I get so excited, like it will affect my sleep. Like I won't be able to go to sleep because I'm so excited for like the next morning. I'm like a psycho in that way. That's how much I love the morning because like it's just a new day. So whenever I'm like just on the like just back to normal of planning, matcha in the morning, just minutes outside. Oh, it just feels so good. And I love that you mentioned that about your employees because I totally relate. And I hope that that continues no matter how big we grow. I never want to be, and of course I say this with a smaller company, it might just be eventually just not doable and it is what it is. But I would hate to not know someone personally on our team. And again, I know like with big companies, that's impossible when you have thousands upon thousands of people, but I don't know. I to think that that could potentially be it. I'm like, that makes me real sad. I love, because it is, we're a family and I'm like you, like, I want to make sure that, as entrepreneurs, there's always that trifecta. It's like, is the patient happy or the client happy, customer, whoever, is your employees happy? And then is the business profitable? So there's like this constant like trifecta of like balance, which is quite fun to juggle, as you know, but also so rewarding, especially the employee side. I didn't think I would find that as rewarding as I do. I always like, oh, patients, customers. Yes, that's the most rewarding. But then like, as like we started offering health insurance, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is equally rewarding and exciting. And I never thought I'd get excited about that.
Yeah, no, it's kind of crazy because there's so many people who have to believe in your vision of the brand in order for it to come to surface. Like I can't be at every store every day. And I know that at the end of the day, the company is really moving forward because of everybody else.
Yeah.
I am just, one cog in this wheel, but the reason people are showing up and buying product and coming in every single day is because of the amazing team that is putting this out. Like our plant team putting out these juices, like they're rock solid. Like they are so great. Our baker who's making these incredible from scratch, like 3 flavors a day muffin with homemade gluten-free flour. Like his name is Darren, and like, God bless this man. He is killing it. Like,
oh my gosh,
where everybody knows, like the baked goods, we're all like, nobody messes with Darren. You give him exactly what he wants. If he wants a coffee, if he wants whatever, like you get it to him, and he's just back there in the bakery doing his thing. Nicest guy ever, has been with the company probably 6 years, and love him dearly. He's amazing. But
muffin man,
front of store girls, like that are at the point of sales, that are having these relationships with the customers, and basically being that like smiley, friendly face that knows these people's lives, like, that they know they're prepping for a big meeting or they're going to a job interview and they're creating those connections. Like that's all them. Like I'm very self-aware to know that the reason Kaleidoscope is where it is because of like the stellar people who work here. And it's, the ones that are on the ground doing this every day. And I'm just very grateful that they're choosing to stay here.
Oh my God. Here. Ditto.
Yeah.
Ditto. It's harder than you think to find good people, but for some reason, I'm sure you too, I don't know, I just feel like I attract good people. So it's not too hard to find them. Like everyone I've interviewed and really had on, they've just been amazing. I haven't really, knock on wood, hasn't run into like anything like, oh, this was an awful hire. Like, no, everyone's been fantastic, but I love that. And yes, I'm like, what's your long-term plans? Because I want you to stay with me forever.
Yeah, I have one girl who's a good friend of mine. Her name's Samantha. And she's like, if you fired me, I like know where all the keys are. I know where everything is. Like, I would just show up. Like, I would show up for my shift. I'd be here. So like, basically like you could be upset with what I'm doing, but it wouldn't matter because I'm still going to work here. And I was like, hey, love that for us.
I love the commitment. So after morning routine, do you have any nighttime routines that you stick to?
So
outside doing homework late, Brooke.
God, yeah. I was like, girl, we did the same thing. We're on our computer doing lectures, discussion board posts.
I know.
I'm asking everybody when stuff is due because I'm always wrong. But yeah, no, if I'm not in school, I am usually honestly doing like product development and just creating things because when I'm stressed, I always just write stuff down that inspires me. So I have like a little notebook. I am like the queen of notebooks. Like I have like all these different notebooks and I will just get inspired by something that I hear or see and I'll write it down or I'll put it in my notes on my phone. And it's just like constantly like product stuff. And that's like very therapeutic to me.
Awesome.
But I would say like for me to go to bed and like to do it, I shower like at night and I will listen to like either a podcast or music and I will force myself. I'll be like, you're all done for the day. So you're going to listen to somebody else talk or somebody else. So I like actually stop in my own head and I will like take a shower and then I'll go and do like a full nighttime skin routine.
Oh my gosh,
And
amazing.
then I will sit in my bed, put my phone on airplane mode, and I will either, again, still be listening to music or a podcast. And then when I'm kind of like have been able to, I'll know when my brain's kind of like, I'll either laugh at something else. I know that I've kind of detached, then I'll turn it off. And then I kind of just like, will go through like either like what I'm grateful for or all these things, and then go to that have nothing to do with my job, that have everything to do either with my family or my husband or my friends, and I will go sleep.
I love that. I love that. Man, my routine's just too much. It's too much. I love that yours is just nice and simple. I know I have to detach too. I usually will do that by like watching shows. That's how I just honestly escape from reality and go into like a not fantasy world, but just like a different, like, I'm just going to watch your drama. Like, I don't want any drama of mine. I just want to watch yours. That's just how I am able to like stop thinking about work. Obviously like there's meditation stuff, but nothing like just watching someone else's marbles fall off, even if it's fiction. So love that. What about eating in a day? So I know you mentioned your coffee in the morning. What's your typical like breakfast, lunch, dinner, juice?
Yes. So I know that I feel like it sounds unrealistic, I know, to most, because I work in food service, and if you work in food service, you're around food. So I don't want to tell you this and have everybody be like, oh, I need to do that. It's what I'm around.
Yeah.
So I'm aware that I am very fortunate and blessed to be around food all day. So I have access to organic fruits and vegetables pretty much at the ready. But I do a coffee in the morning and then I go and start my routine. I like to have something kind of protein based for breakfast. So if I'm out and about, which I usually am, I'll usually have cottage cheese or like a meat stick. And when I say like right after my workout, I have it at like 7 a.m. So I know for a lot of people, like that's
do you
like,
dip it in the cottage cheese?
I mean, I should honestly, but no, I will, I'll eat it early and then, or I'll have a juice, and it depends on the day and what I'm up to. And I don't view juices as like, I think most people, I view it honestly as a supplement of just getting, accessible fruits and veggies in my diet already. I rarely do only juice all day. It's just to me, a convenience factor of having high quality nutrients at the ready on the go. So I'll do juice, and then for lunch or like, and I have such like bizarre, just I don't like really sit down and have lunches. Again, like today I had
your meat steak and cottage cheese.
meat stick. I do eat a lot of those, which I don't know if that's like a normal thing to do, but just I'm in a season of life with school and work, and we're in season right now. So I'm all about convenience. I think I had like a cabbage salad today because I have so much freaking cabbage right now.
I'm gonna say, I bet.
50 pounds of freaking cabbage.
Oh my gosh.
So I had like a cabbage salad today with, like peanut dressing, and I just brought like cabbage home and did that. And then, what else have I really eaten today? I had 2 slices of like deli, organic turkey meat, because I went to Whole Foods yesterday. I went grocery shopping, and I make sure that I get like cottage cheese, meat sticks, some apples. And I usually take apples from the company, but sometimes when we're in season, mine will be like, that's enough. We need the apples. Like,
Oh
stop.
my gosh.
So I try not to like deplete us in full. But just to like have like, I feel like my diet's a lot of like random add-ins of things that are just around me.
Yeah.
And then, yeah. And then for dinner, I will make something. Like usually that's where I'm like, have my moment. And I should have said that as my decompressing. Like I really genuinely enjoy cooking and I genuinely enjoy making food. So for my husband and I, if he's home, cause he works obviously as firefighter, he's gone, 48 to 72 hours a week, just overnight because of the job that it is. I will cook for us usually, or he'll, he's a smoker. So he's really into smoking meat right now.
Oh my gosh, smoked salmon is my favorite.
Oh my God, it's so good. Yeah, and he is actually like very good. I'll give credit when credit is due. And he is very good at using the smoker. So yeah, we usually try to always have a vegetable. I'll do like broccoli and we'll have like a smoked meat or something. And then I think what did I make the other day? I made, like breakfast tacos and I did ground beef, eggs, mushrooms, onions, and then just did salsa over it with like tortillas. Yeah. And we had, leftovers. We don't have children. It's just the two of us. So I'll eat that for like 2 days. So
nice. I love that. I love your quick fixes. Like always in Brooke's cart, meat sticks, cottage cheese, and apples. It's like the most random thing ever. I feel like cottage cheese is coming up again. Like I'm seeing a lot of people like eat it and stuff because it's like protein, but no one in my family likes it. I used to eat it all the time when I was younger with potato chips.
Yum. Yes.
Ever done it? Oh, it's the best. I don't know. When I bought it, everyone in my family was like, "What is this?" And I'm like, cottage cheese.
You're like, where have I missed this? Yeah.
Do you have not snacks but meals? Do you have certain like meals, entrees, not so much like the simple stuff of like smoked meat and veggies, but do you have a meal like spaghetti? Like what's your favorite healthy meal? Two of them.
Okay, so I'm just gonna be very honest. My favorite meal, and I literally just answered this for somebody else on a podcast, and they were like, oh my gosh, it's interesting. I love hamburgers, and to me, I think it's a complete meal.
Oh, it is. 100% it is.
Okay, thank you. So depends on the, nutritionist, because some people are super anti looking at a hamburger, and I'm like, it's lean meat. It's
veggies.
You get lettuce, tomato, tons of pickles, onion. And I personally, we have such great, we use a local bread company called Mediterra, and they're out of I think Coolidge, Arizona. So we order from them probably once or twice a week. So they freshly bake us organic sourdough bread and drop it off.
Amazing.
We use that for avocado toast and for banana nut toast, and I love them. And they also sell in a few of our Whole Foods. And then there's another brand, and they have them at the farmers market. And there's another brand called Noble, which is Arizona based. So I'm sorry for everybody who's not Arizona based, but they do organic, and they also are in a few restaurants that I like to go to that are local. So to me, if you're having, quality sourdough, quality whole grains, and you don't have a gluten allergy and you don't have a gluten intolerance, I personally love them. And I like to eat a lot of whole grains and sourdough because I do like carbohydrates. I do believe
who doesn't like carbohydrates? I love carbohydrates.
Well, it depends on who you ask nowadays.
Yeah, I know they've been so demonized, but no, fully support you, back you that cheeseburger, hamburger, if you do grass-fed cheddar, yes, it is a full meal. And even without the bun, and you do homemade sweet potato fries for your carbohydrate instead, that is a balanced ass meal. So I can't believe when people would even think that that's not a meal. I hate that it's fast food. That's the first thing. I'm like, burgers are absolutely not, doesn't have to be fast food. I do not get that vibe when I say burgers.
Totally. Yeah, it just depends on where you go. And yes, they're obviously fast food or processed food is in a separate category of what I view where my food is coming from. Yeah. And I do think, some people can go out to eat and they can eat those meals and have them here and there. However, for longevity and for what I do all the time. I try to always, source and have product integrity that I do in Kaleidoscope. I try to look for that when I have personal meals for friends and family.
Yeah, 100%. I know you mentioned RA that you had it when you were younger. Do you still struggle with that? Does that impact your productivity or life in any way?
Yeah. So I have been off meds since 2008. I had spondyloarthropathy in my lower sacroiliac joint. So it spread to my lower back when I was in high school. And that was from stress. I was moving when I was in high school to a new state. I moved 2 days before my junior year of high school.
Oh God.
Yeah,
Trauma.
I know. And then I had a hard time at that school and moved literally 3 months later to another new school.
Oh my
So
gosh.
I had an insane flare up when I was in high school. And so stress really does affect me. And I will deal with, have you ever seen Mean Girls when she's like, I can tell when it's raining? So
Yes.
I also get affected by weather. So I will have really bad back pain and knee pain, and the next day it'll rain. And I like tell my husband, I was like, I know it's gonna rain.
That's so, I wonder what that is, because I know I've heard that not just in Mean Girls, but I think it was her boobs.
Yeah.
That's how she could tell. But I'm like, there has to be something to that then. There has to be something to that, because I know that people can, and I don't believe it's in your head. Obviously, if you're actually seeing it happen, I now I feel like I got to go look for studies. Like, what is the mechanism of that?
Well, I know a lot of people with arthritis move to Arizona because it's so dry. So there's really low humidity, and humidity is a factor for people with arthritis. So that was a really great thing too. When I was going through a lot of health struggles in high school, I remember my mom being like, maybe you should go to Arizona because it might help your back. Like I was some old person looking for a retirement home when I was
Oh my
going to
gosh.
college.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, so I do have it when I get stressed. I'll have pretty bad back pain. I'm just get used to it. I'm not get used to it. But I am quite used to it. Well, even I have a business group that I'm in, and I told them in my first meeting, I go, sometimes I have to move my arms around and move how I'm sitting and adjust myself because I have a bad back. And they're like, aren't you like 31? I'm like, yes, I am. But,
Don't judge me. That's hilarious. Does it impact you with any working out, or do you just pivot and or do you completely just stop if you are feeling it?
So I really invested in a personal trainer about 3 years ago. Her name's Kayla Hushka, and she's also local in Arizona. But I told her initially, I have these back issues, I have knee issues, and sometimes I can't lift and I can't, I have bad days. I haven't had the point where I've had to go back on medication. I've really tried to avoid it just because when I was on, Enbrel, the shots that you give in your leg, I was on Enbrel shots once a week. And then I was taking 500 milligrams of Relafin every day. And I know it messed up my digestive tract, and it also made my hair fall out. So I don't have like the best, I would say, I've really worked through a lot of it, obviously, throughout my education. And that's why I've stayed in school and wanted to do all this. But I am like the shortest person in my family. And I always like think about it, not like anything, people have said you're short because you were on so many drugs as a kid, but like my siblings are much taller than me. My parents are taller than me. And I do think a lot of the things that I was on growing up and the drugs I was on, because I was on this all throughout my upbringing, off and on, affected my growth, affected my nutrient intake. And still like kind of to this day have affected like little things that I am just mindful of. And with that being coming back around to working out, I will have to not do some stuff. And there's some workouts I can't do. And there's some workouts that I just I've had to like tell people like, it's amazing for you. That will fucking ruin me. So I can't do that. And my trainer has been awesome in that sense, where she's modified everything. She will really look into what's going on with me personally. She also loves the challenge of like, figuring out how we can incorporate some new moves. And I've never been bored. I have always feel great after my workouts, even times where my back has felt like absolute shit. Like last week, my back pretty much was out and I still went Monday morning. And I was like, I can't really move my neck, but if there's something we can do, she did such great like mobility exercises with me. So I would say like finding a good trainer, somebody who's like open to changing what they're doing because they're having like a client with adverse reactions to the normal workout routine has been the best thing I could have done for myself.
That's awesome. I mean, it's so important to like have and learn from people like you, because we all have something that we're working on and going through. And so one of the, the biggest questions is like, oh my gosh, if this happens, how do you pivot? Cause I think there is so much all or nothing, and it absolutely just doesn't have to be, because I do believe that if you're in a season of, a flare, not feeling well, you have to pivot. You're not a failure. It's just, you're changing, to like what feels good in this season. And then, you're going to bounce right back. So I always like asking those questions, because it's like, oh, there are people that are, doing it, going with the flow and not being so strict and on point of like, but I have to do this. I have to do it this way. And if I don't do it this way, I suck. And it's just not the case. That's not life.
Yeah, no, I learned very early on that I know very little and I'm not the smartest person in the room. And that's how you always want to be. And you want to be willing to listen and hear the expertise of everybody else, because it's usually going to help you and enhance your quality of life. And I've been very fortunate where a lot of people have wanted to help me, and, whether it be work, whether it be, like my physical setbacks from my RA, and without everybody else's help, I wouldn't be here doing this or be even functioning the way I'm functioning with RA from such a young age.
Yeah, for sure. So what are some of your favorite, like, I know you mentioned podcasts, but do you have any favorite like self-development or mental health books, podcasts? Anything that stands out that has really helped you in your journey of just self-development and just getting your mind right? Because as you know, like just climbing the corporate ladder, entrepreneurship, oh my gosh, I feel like if anything, that's all what it is. It's just like mindset and growing thick skin and learning things that you didn't think you'd ever have to learn. So what have been some of your favorite resources in the process?
So I don't have like a ton of resources, but I have things that I like am mindfully done. A first thing I do is I listen to a ton of audibles. I listen to a ton of books.
Me too. Love Audible.
When you said like detach from reality and listen to other people's drama, like you give me like a like dirty rom-com on an Audible and like a solid 2-hour walk outside by myself, and I'm a new woman. Like I'm like in a good mood. I'm like pumped. I'm happy. Like,
okay.
Yes.
I've only done books. So all the Audibles I listen to are usually like entrepreneurship, like learning. So I haven't done actually fiction Audible books. So is like, do you think that's better than like reading the book?
Yes. Yes, it is. And it
really
is. Well, I only do it, like I said, like my perfect afternoon, if I have like a chunk of time off, I will like find a good book that I'm really excited about, and I will pop in my headphones and I will go on like a 2-hour walk, and my phone will, like I won't be looking at work stuff, and I'll just be transfixed into this other world. And I would compare it to like people when you watch TV and you watch a show.
Yeah.
You're able to kind of do that. But for me, it's like, I get to be out in sunlight. I get to, be moving and be on a walk. So it's like this weird, I get done with it and I'm like, I just like was able, you almost feel like I just gossiped with friends, but nothing negative happened. And like, I don't, you know what I mean? Like I didn't do anything. Okay. I wasn't involved in the drama. I just, got to listen to some gossip. And then I got a nice little walk, and I also got some sunlight or, just some fresh air. So yeah. I love that as like a complete detachment for me to like reset my mind. If I'm super stressed or if I just like need a break, it's like my own little like gossip sesh with the gals, but it's like a book of people I don't know, and the drama doesn't affect my life. And so
I have to try.
Yes, it's so good. But recently, like I have been super overwhelmed. Like we're in season, and I have like, I don't think I've been this busy ever, like with school and us coming up on finals in the final 2 weeks for our program. And, you know, we just like have a lot of people walking through our doors. I have really leaned into just telling people like, hey, I'm struggling and I need to, I think it was like Saturday, like I hadn't really seen my husband in a few days and we hadn't done anything, just the two of us. And I used to feel so guilty that if I wasn't constantly doing something for work, and I still do that. Like if I am not constantly doing something that's growing the business or helping people who work here, or is just like beneficial for the company, where it's like, I feel like I genuinely feel like a failure. I'm like, I shouldn't be in charge. Like there's other people working way harder than me. Like you need to be focusing on work. So I have really actively had to sit and take the mindset of just leaning in and telling people like, hey, I'm struggling. Hey, I'm not doing well. Just owning like that, like I fucked up, or like owning where I'm having like big failure moments, and just knowing that I'm human about it. Whereas before it would like eat me alive, like absolutely eat me alive. And I don't think that like there's any podcast or book that can come along with like the experience of just like having faith. Where I would say like, I do pray and I do, you know, believe in God and believe in a higher power. And I believe that, you know, God has a plan for everybody. And I would say leaning into faith and knowing that and having that connection is by far the most beneficial part of life, and having a better outlook on business, because at the end of the day, like it is just a job. It is, you know, just these things. Whereas like, if you have this faith in God, it will always prevail through and always help you. So my big life hack is prayer.
No, it's so true, because I used to be on, as an entrepreneur, that roller coaster of like, you know, especially when things are booming, things are great, and all of a sudden things are silent, things are quiet. You're like, I'm going bankrupt. Like, you know, those emotions that every entrepreneur has been on. And so even if you're not an entrepreneur, it might be a little different, but maybe not. The thing that has helped the most long-term is having faith and just saying like, yeah, it's slow. Well, guess what? Like things are going to work out. And that's obviously not an overnight thing, but it's consistently like when those thoughts would creep up, it's just realigning with what I know. And what I know is it's going to work out, and there's no need to stress about it. So it just comes with time. But I can attest that like, I feel like I would still be and I'm naturally more of an anxious person. But I feel like I would be over the top anxious if it wasn't for that. So I fully understand. So then what podcast are you listening to? Are you listening to fun podcasts? Not so much self-help podcasts?
I'll put up, I mean, let me see what we're at right now. I listen to the Morning Toast every day with
never heard that one.
Claudia and Jackie. It's funny you say this, because in that like business group that I'm in, they were like, oh, listening to these business, like entrepreneur podcasts, it got to me. And I was like, so I listened to the Toast, and they actually do have a lot of business advice, but it's more pop culture. And I love them. It's like so funny. And if you are a female and have a sister, you relate to them so much more, because it's two sisters, like kind of going back and forth, and they're hilarious. So I listen to them every day, and that's like my, you know, pride and joy.
I love that.
I listened to this podcast called So You Want to Run a Restaurant, and that will have different people who are in the restaurant industry. And they'll do, you know, different types of either like hybrid concepts or stuff where ghost kitchens are becoming really popular, stuff like that, which I enjoy. American Scandal, which if you like history for any type of like big, scandals that have happened. I like the one, it was the breakup of big oil, and how Rockefeller came to power, and then how his oil conglomerate got broken up by the Supreme Court, but it ended up making him more rich. So it's really interesting. And I like kind of hearing like how the United States formed different aspects, not only of businesses, but how laws came to be because of different entrepreneurs that, you know, tried to build stuff in this country. And since it is a newer country, we do have a lot of like really interesting stories on how our laws were developed. So I like that one a lot. If you like history and if you like how the United States government has developed its laws, whether you love or hate the laws, it's still, to me,
Interesting.
to know the background of it. And if, I don't like something, how are you going to change something if you have no idea how it originated?
Yeah. Yeah.
I enjoy that aspect of it.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that. I love that you have like a variety. Like you have your rom-coms and then just like the pop culture stuff and then like, yeah, some business stuff. I'm with you. I love the mix of it. I naturally, again, steer more towards books for like the fun stuff because it just gives me a chance to not look at a screen, which is why I do have a Kindle, but I just never use it. But I love the idea of just a walk as well. And that's why I was telling you too, when, the walking treadmill that I have, I'm like, girl, you gotta do, if you like that, then do homework and walk on a walking treadmill. Dude, I'm like, my neurons feel like they're firing. I actually used to, in the master's program, I wanted to go outside for a walk because I wanted to get, yes, not just the walk, but the sun and the fresh air. And I remember I would like, I think be thinking of my paper, at least outline, and I'd be like on the notes in my phone, like trying to organize because I really wanted to be outside. So yeah, I'm all about multitasking. I feel like you got to, especially when you're juggling all the things that like you are.
I know we're all busy, but everybody, just some people just are better at organizing it than me. So
but you're also still like taking care of yourself. Like you're still making it happen, even if you are busy, even if, okay, yes, you are exposed and around food all the time, but I mean, it's still possible, even if people aren't. So I love that you shared with us and you spent time with us today. So tell us, where can we support you? I know I have your Instagram link and your website, but share anywhere else.
thank you. We're at Kaleidoscope Juice on Instagram. We have our Square site for Kaleidoscope. We also have an app that's free and you can download it. And we have all of our pickup information, or if you want to get juice sent to you, we do ship nationwide. And we ship cookies as well. So if you are interested in our products, you can go through our website and chat with Kirsty, who runs all of our wholesale and catering, and she sets people up with like customized juice plans, so you feel like you're getting the same experience in store. And that's what she's dedicated to. So she's super great and has been with the company for a long time. Then if you're ever in Arizona, come through.
Yes.
We'd love to see you. We'd love to have you. And we are just hopefully going to keep growing and spread all the Kaleidoscope love everywhere.
Yes, that is goals. Oh, well, let me do lightning round because I always forget. Why do I always forget the lightning round? I don't know. So let's do one. 5 questions in either or. So just choose your favorite. Let's start with, I already know this one. This one doesn't count. I was going to say pizza or burger. The burger. So never mind. That one doesn't count. Sweet or sour?
Sour.
Horror movies or comedy?
Comedy.
Painful truth or comforting lie?
Painful truth.
Oh, romper or dress?
Dress.
Yeah, you don't want to sit naked.
Well, I just
like naked in public.
I work to go to the bathroom in a romper.
I know.
If you're like drinking, you just kind of sit there
naked.
Yeah.
Last but not least, Netflix or Hulu?
Netflix, only because I'm super lazy to get a Hulu.
Oh my gosh.
I know. I'm like the only person who doesn't have one. It's just Netflix is so easy, and I'm on my best friend's little sister's Netflix account. Don't cancel me, Netflix. But like, I've always been on it because we've been friends for like 12 years, and her sisters always let me have her password. So like Netflix for life.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. They actually do have so different like things. And me and my husband were literally, because we have Disney Plus, we have Hulu, we have Netflix, we have, oh my gosh, I feel like other stars. Gotta watch my Outlander, and love Outlander, shout out. But why was I going? Oh, he's like, I swear we pay as much in cable as we do all these other little like, side, like $10 a month, whatever. And he's like, we still end up paying that. I'm like, I know, but like Hulu has like Handmaid's Tale and like, I don't know, just different shows that are not available anywhere else. You got to have both.
I know. And I'm missing out because I've never seen Handmaid's Tale, and everybody told me I'd love it.
You would love it. You get Hulu tonight. You started.
I know. Well, clearly I'm not spending it on Netflix. So maybe I take the deep dive and go on Hulu.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Brooke, for hanging out with me today.
Thank you. It was great.